What's up? This is Rebel Radio.
What up? What up? This is DJ Newmark.
This is Peanut Butter Wolf.
It's your boy. It's okay.
Keep checking out Rebel Radio.
Rebel Radio.
This is Rebel Radio.
We're in the place right here. Rebel Radio is going down.
Would you say Rebel Radio?
Oh, wait. Let's do it again.
Rebel Radio.
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Rebel Radio. I'm your host, Josh Levine. My guest today is my man Taso from the Teklife crew out of LA, Chicago, and now worldwide. They are a collective of DJs and artists bringing you the footwork genre. I'm sure you never heard of that, but listen up and you're gonna find out all about footwork today. Taso is about to release his new EP, New Start, and he's been a busy man this year. He's put out 8 EPs already in 2016. He's gonna give us some insight into how his crew looks out for each other, how they give each other inspiration, guidance. Dude is a really interesting mix of spirituality, street hustle, and of course a deep love of music. He's gonna give us his secrets for how he creates new music on the road and what he does to stay positive in the face of all the challenges that come with success. And now let's get into our interview. Get into it, but I'm excited to have you here, man. I'm still just getting up on your stuff, and I'm as I've been listening, I've been amazed like the range that you have of different styles. I feel like a lot of cats, like you kind of have your one sound and that's your thing, and everything's like kind of around the same BPMs, and then as I've spent some time with your music, like it's. There's so much diversity to what you're doing, which I think just makes it really interesting. It's got to make it interesting for you.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah, it keeps me coming back.
So let's go back to the beginning. And, you were just telling me about growing up between Boston and Greece and the Bay Area. Like, how did you first get into music, even as a fan?
It's kind of just been like a day one session.
Yeah.
Even
as a kid?
Yeah, I didn't talk to my pops for the greater half of my life, but he was a singer.
Okay.
I would rate him a good singer in Greek bands, so they'd play like weddings and banquets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just remember my pops with the tape cassette player, headphones, and just rewinding and playing and singing. I think one of the first pictures of me was holding a microphone and a balloon.
Is that right?
When I came to America. I liked the mic since
That's
the
cool.
early days. But the music, since day one, is just, I've been in an obsession in my family. Greeks they love music, love to dance, love to drink.
For sure.
And then my auntie was from the Midwest.
Okay.
So she's the only like white lady, Irish, just super Americana, grew up in that era. And
Is that right?
She taught me how to tie my shoes, write cursive, the Beatles, Rolling Stones.
Nice.
Pretty much humanized me as an American.
Oh, that's cool.
So my whole and she gave me my first crate.
Uh-huh.
And in there was like Diana Ross, the Supremes. She gave me like an original copy of like Sgt. Pepper's, Let It Be, from Apple Records on 7-inch.
Do you remember the first record you bought yourself?
Man, I was so broke most of my life, man. But it's kind of embarrassing to say that the first records that I bought myself was, shout out Kegs One from the Zoo in San Mateo, which is a barbershop / beat factory.
Is that right?
Like graffiti spot. Yeah, the Zoo. I don't know if it's still there, but like he put out this like A and B side instrumental.
Okay.
And it was the only like instrumental thing I could find at this record shop in San Bruno. And shout out Ultrasounds, R.I.P. It's been gone.
Yeah.
But the first record I really bought was Super Seal, Qbert.
Okay.
I wanted to scratch.
Nice.
I didn't know that people blended records still at this point. I just thought the techniques and the mixer was for scratching.
How'd you get from like, Let It Be, Sgt. Pepper's to like Qbert? Like what? like how'd you start discovering?
Yo, it was
like your music?
Imagine the feelings. I didn't jump in because I get so excited to say that. I imagine it's the same feeling as the cats that before me got when they heard Rocky. I mean, for me, it was more Mixmaster Mike. Like, I came up, in the 90s. So whatever happened before me, it was years till I discovered. And so, for me, it was, and even like watching MTV, like, what's his name? DJ Scribble? He would always be getting down. I seen all the rap groups always, I always loved Jazzy Jeff. Like, I think Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff really, like, hit it off for me. And Run DMC when I was mad. I just always saw this guy doing that thing. Yeah. And then when I was a kid, I loved Legos, and my mom came in my room, and I made a DJ booth out of Legos and painted my quarters black.
Oh, shit.
And, like, I, like, used the helicopter things as, like, needle. I don't know what I was doing, but I did it.
That's dope.
And since a very young age, I just kind of had an obsession with DJing. And it just came out of nowhere. And when in Greece, I used to get yelled at because I go to the record player and fuck with the record, man. You know, like, it's the same story I heard growing up. I feel like it's like I'm almost copying, like, 10 interviews of how do you discover Q-Vert and all that. Yeah. It was literally just seeing some dude, you know, on a technique, just going back and forth and then cutting and scratching. And, you know, I grew up playing guitar, bass, drums, and piano, so.
Oh, wow.
I play a lot of instruments. So to me, that was like the most foreign instrument of all time as far as self-teaching. And
turntable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that, I think, is what helps me out with my tunes, you know? Like, I think that's one of the biggest inspirations to my stuff is, like, the art of the scratch battle DJ. Mm-hmm. And I kind of, if you listen closely, like, I don't use awe and freshes. Yeah. But for, like, the real heads, they come at me and they're like, yo, did you use bionic booger breaks too or something? Yeah. Or this, that, and the third breaks. I'm like, yo, I did actually. Yeah. And I own it and I love it. I think I have, like, a whole, not to draw on about it, but, like, I rarely talk about it, but I have, like, majority of my crates are actually scratch records. Yeah. And battle breaks. Yeah. Just in case. And
which started first, DJing or making beats?
Making beats, for sure. When I was 12.
Okay.
I got this software, Hip Hop EJ. Uh-huh. And it's like my mom, I got like mad good grades, and she was like, I'll take you to the EB Games and get you a video game. Man, I've been to that mall, and I done seen in the window just like this software with a turntable on it. Uh-huh. You know, there again, the turntable. Like, the elusive turntable at 12 years old drove me into the software, and then yeah, man, at 12 years old, I was like making beats for kids in my neighborhood, and 13, 14, having them come over. Finally got a microphone. And then, around 15, shout out this girl, Bree, from back in the day. I used her credit card because I didn't have shit. But I had some money. Yeah. And I got 2 Geminis and a mixer with like some generic headphones for like $330 sent to my door. Great. That was it. Yeah. It was like, after that, I knew what I wanted to do. But before that, I was playing in, like, random shit, like punk and ska bands, jazz. Yeah. Played in hardcore, grindcore, thrash. Wow. Played in, like, a lot of rock stuff, a lot of reggae stuff, a lot of live hip-hop stuff. You know, like, I was really into music at at 13, I was, like, we set up, like, a bunch of shows in New England with this band I had. We made T-shirts and recorded a 12-track album. Yeah. Really liked it since day one, man.
Do you remember your first time on stage?
Yeah. Yeah. I was wearing a Dare to Keep Kids Off Drugs. Sure, I was playing bass in this band. I was at a church in Beverly or something, which is next to my hometown of Lynn, Mass. Yeah. My sister was there, so if you don't believe me, all I remember is I jumped on the bass amp that I borrowed and just jumped in the crowd and, like, hit this poor kid with the headstock of my Fender P bass and cracked this kid's face open. And I just started punching everyone and moshing while still playing. No way. Yeah, it was my first time. Yeah. I was really, as you could tell, there's a lot of, like, I've been wanting to do that my whole life, man. Yeah. Finally got to do it.
And so you were kind of hooked immediately.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's my probably only and biggest addiction. Sure, it is his too. It's like, this music's all we got, man. Yeah. Especially in the times we live in. Like, look what's going on, man. Like, my fucking album's called New Start. And it wasn't until now that I think everyone's wishing that they had a new start in life right now or something. Yeah. I don't know if it's the chaoticness of 2016 as a whole or whatever. I just think specifically that, you know, this album's the most meaningful thing, at least in my quote-unquote career, up until this day. You know, now we've just met, so we're getting to the bottom of the barrel.
That's right. So when did you start to feel like you could do this for a living?
Certified? I gotta say Surefire for me.
Surefire.
What about you?
I gotta say when
I
first got in the group in 2010.
Okay.
And then literally the next day, Spin was like, "Man, I feel so bad that I'm not gonna be able to like hang out with you. I'm going to London for my first time by myself tomorrow." I'm like,
nice.
Wow, that's so cool. Like I didn't even get in the group like to like be touring the world. I just got in the group on some Chicago footwork.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just our neighborhood stuff.
Yeah.
So then he just said that. I was like, it could be possible. So I just kept on with the music, but I stayed in school and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. You know, I was
working.
I was working a job when I met them. And wasn't a bad job, but I'd already got my degree. I finished my schooling for audio engineering.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think when I realized that I could pay bills with this is when, you know, the agency came in. And it's actually kind of messed up. Like, I never thought I could really pay bills with this stuff till after, you know, rest in peace, Rashad. Like, it's a big part of the story. You know, he left and they had hella dates. Like, the craziest tour they were about to ever embark on. All that work was leading up to that. And somehow I got subbed into the equation. You know, I never thought about money.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Spin broke me off, like, a cut from the run, and he went 50-50, and I looked at all this money, man. I never had that much, like, paper, legal tender. It wasn't that much. Let's get real. Like, I'm sure people would laugh if I said the gross total of what was in my hand. But as, like,
But it was a lot to you.
It's my whole life, dude. Like, if you told me that that's all I'd ever get for all the work I did, it probably wouldn't feel good, you know? You'd probably be like, well, you know, I want more. But
of course.
Just in that moment in time, you know, like, that was, like, the biggest deal to me is paying rent with music money. And then it just kept happening.
So did you buy anything crazy? Was there any...
Yeah, I fucked up.
What'd you buy?
I probably shouldn't have done it. Probably should have bought... Like, I have all the studio gear I want, like, minus the upgrade speakers I'm about to get. But, like, probably then I should have got speakers, but me and Spin, we some hood cats to the end of the day, bro. My mom raised me better. His mom tried to raise him better. Like, same with my mom. They tried. But, man, we hit the Gucci store. We went right to the Beverly Center.
Is that right?
Yeah, bro. They robbed the shit out of us. They pretty much shook us upside down and gave us a hand job and fucking made us leave with our tail between our legs. But, man, we had Gucci fucking bags, man. Yeah. We still admit that was the dumbest thing I think we've ever done. We've done a lot of dumb shit together. That was probably the apex.
I mean, sometimes you gotta do that to remember not to do it again.
And these Kazals,
you know.
I gotta say it. Yeah, I'm still wearing them.
You gotta get your money's worth.
Yo, Run DMC, man. All I wanted was the DJing and those sick glasses.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, need that fucking bucket hat.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just to hit, like, I think I'm just overtly like Boston, New York, like hip hop, you know, like we love the fucking look, the flavor, everything. So I think that mentality transferred into the Gucci store. Where it's like, fuck it, I'm gonna get mines,
right?
And I'm gonna only do this once,
yeah.
So make it worth it.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing, right? You could probably survive it once, right? As long as it's not becomes a weekly habit or whatever.
Yeah,
that's when cats get in trouble, right?
Dude, I be hearing foul stuff like, you know. 2 Chainz, shout out Titty Boy. He's like, every time I get stressed out, I go buy a new car.
Right.
I'm like, glad I don't have your problem. It's true, though.
Yeah.
More money, more problems.
For sure.
Yeah, but I think that was the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. Top 10 Gucci store.
So tell me about Teklife and, you know, how does it work? How the crew come together? Okay. Like, how do y'all work together?
You know, Teklife is our life. Like, we take the tech out of it. It's a pretty easy equation. We wear it. I have it tattooed.
Yeah.
Elbow to wrist. I live every day and go to sleep thinking about it. What it is a coalition and a group of men and women around the world. Originally started in Southside Chicago, I believe. All over Chicago now we got homies. And then it just went from there to Rashad and Spin meeting Ashes 57.
Yeah.
Delphine. And they pretty much had ghetto technicians cracking. And before that, you know, they were in dance groups. But when it all came together was like when he came in, was around the time, you know, Manny had already been in. Earl, I think, was coming in. Delphine was, I mean, there was a lot of people that already set up with this before I got there, so I'm trying to remember exact. I even believe Fella Easy and Jackie Dagger already repping Teklife.
Okay.
A few months before me. And
so how do you?
It's crazy. It's just nuts how it all. Like I'm running it back and saying it over and over again. It's almost like it's hard to believe, but yeah, we've basically just met Spin and Rashad like in San Francisco.
So tell me how it works as far as like, because there's like a crew and a friendship element, but there's a business element too, right?
Yeah, of course.
So like,
gotta be.
So how does that work together? Like as far as business, like how do you help each other? Like, does all the money kind of go into one place, or is it like, is it like?
We don't really talk money too much. The guys. Like,
okay.
We don't think that's like kind of last on our like our to-do list as far as discussion, because the money that comes in, anything having to do with Rashad, money goes to his son, Chad.
Yeah.
So that's one route if we're gonna talk money openly, and eventually we'd like to open that up, and hopefully I'd love to open up a fund or something, that's just open but still private and unattainable until he goes to college.
Yeah. That's good.
But the other money goes back into the business. So it's like, we cut records these days. It's not cheap.
Right.
So a lot of the gross profits from these wonderful apparel made by Ashes 57 and a screen printing team in London. So that money that comes in goes right back in, So it's kind of like you got to feed the beast to keep it going. And as far as units and sales and all that, you got to deal with like distribution and all that stuff. So it's on either quarterlies or grouped up and bundled in.
So it works like a label in that sense. Right?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's definitely transferred from at first just like a crew mentality, friends around the world.
Yeah.
Then Rashad okayed the first shirt. He's like, "This is amazing." Shirt went crazy. Next shirt, and then hoodie or crew neck. It's just like small increments lead into it, and then we all made the firm decision that 2016 will be the year that we release records, not just digital or Bandcamp like records, records. So and all the money that comes in goes right back in. And some of us, like for example, Earl did his album. I'm sure he'll be compensated when his earnings are in, and as will mine. And same works even on other labels, Hyperdub. They have wonderful payment systems. So I mean, we're not getting paid like millions, but it feels like it is because we're employed doing what we love.
Yeah.
And I think any artist that doesn't mention that and thank God or thank their family or anyone out loud, is a sucker, bro. Like, we're living the dream. I got some homies in the trenches, in the jungles, like, not talking about concrete. I'm talking about in jungles.
Is that right?
In trenches, going to war. Yeah, man. Like, I got friends that've been doing the same job forever, making $12 an hour, man. And they look at me like I'm a source of inspiration now, and I'm starting to own that up and be humbled and figure out how to transfer that positivity out to the world through the music, I guess.
Do you feel that? Like I know starting out as a musician, like music's an interesting career because you start out, it costs you money, right? Like you got to buy gear, you got to invest in lessons, or somebody has to pay for that, right?
Yo,
like, and
cheap.
And you like nobody makes music on day one, like going to work at a job, right?
Right.
And
there's no like training. Like at a job, you have like training.
Right.
You figure out if you're a machinist, you figure out how to use the machine. Like if you any job, even if you're bagging groceries, this is how you bag eggs on top.
But in music, so if you're fortunate enough or good enough or whatever, if you're successful enough, that this becomes your income source and your livelihood, right? Then, it's like things start to shift. And as you said, like you're inspired by all these people growing up, and then now you start to inspire other people. And so I'm wondering, like in the day-to-day of it, how conscious are you of like the way that that's changing?
At first I feel like I was blind to it, because as a youngster you don't really realize like energy exchanges as well.
Yeah.
And the draining part of it is something you overlook. You always wonder why you fucked up, why you messed up.
So like what's draining?
Like just like keeping up with your last best hit, like doing the shows every time better and better. Just always trying to outdo yourself, no one else, because we don't compete like no other squad. If you notice, like we don't. This ain't some boogie down Bronx shit where it's like anyone want to fuck with us.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's like a security blanket.
Right.
Usually that's where the stress comes from. Is oh damn, like you know, you think of like the Locks versus Rockefeller. That was a real rap battle. Like people could have got killed over that.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, in some situations they did. Not that one, but.
Yeah, like the G Unit Locks battle was funny too because like you know, I'm getting sidetracked, but you know what I mean. Like things could stress from exterior perspective and stuff.
Do you guys have that? Is there like beef with other crews?
No, that's the coolest part of our job. Is it's like we're like hippies, man. It's peace and love and music. We got no beef. We don't talk about no weapons. Like, in fact, we encourage people to just be themselves and enjoy this life. But I think like going back to what I was saying. As I digress, just to wrap it up, like, that energy is draining, man, on you. And the older you get, the more you realize not to care. You let go. And you realize that these are all forms of egomania. And one of my favorite teachers, a wonderful, like, jazz musician, man, Dave Ernst, he said, like, thinking you're the shit and thinking you're a piece of shit is the same form of ego tripping. Just, like, polar opposites. So it's like those emo kids that are like, ooh, those people are just as bad as the gun token, rap, lifestyling. Yeah. Same thing, different, same shit, different toilet.
Sad boys.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, man. So that's I just kind of wanted to wrap that up, like this, not to sound too far left field or anything, but when you know that, man, it's power. Knowledge is power, and they say those who throw mud lose ground in war. And so you all these isms and things, like they lead you to believe either right or wrong, and that's for you to decide over time. And the energy you expand in between these kind of beginning and end trajectory course, like the energy you're expanding is like so vital, man, to the art that you don't even notice what you're doing till you get around my age, I feel like. Because I think he's more woke than most cats his age, and he's been talking like lately and making me realize it all over again. That any negativity is just going to hurt the game. All positivity is prosperity. Sure. And so that's kind of how Rashad and Spin trained me in a few art forms, and one of them was kill them with kindness. And really do that. Don't be fake about it. Like, if you're gonna shake someone or shake them up, look them in the eye. Like, give her. It's kind of like the old schoolyard mentality. Treat everybody like you want to be treated, right? Well, I don't want no one to treat me. I don't deserve to be treated, unless I'm out of line. So that's why I always just try to stay positive and humble, man. I think that's the only way to do it and get ahead.
So how do you back to like the crew, right? Like, how do you balance, like, your own, yourself as an individual artist, right? And kind of your own needs and priorities and all that with what the crew needs. How does, like, what does everybody do to make sure that those things stay in line together?
Well, I think everyone that's up in the front line of the battle is pulling their own weight, I think the guys that are either up and coming or getting their records together or just been A1 since day one trying to get out there are pulling their own weight as well. But it comes a time where it's like, I don't know, everyone's got to kind of got to ask everybody to get a whole answer from that, because that's what I'm saying. I'm just one piece of the puzzle. But for me, my job is to just stay doing what you said in the opening statements was like, I do a lot of stuff at 160, but I try to do it different and unique and change and tweak and shift and mold, like try to just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, just basically the expectation, always try to supersede your last best endeavor is my only mentality. And then I donate that to the crew because we all share tracks. Like, we all on threads, emails. We got the Facebook group always popping, people are throwing tracks in there. And, we put ideas up on the table. We all communicate from around the world. I think that's super cool in this age, like, cool. Where we can all just, within the touch of a button, have our next idea up and running, and no one had to really pay anything except their Wi-Fi bill or whatever,
Sure.
It's pretty sweet. It's a nice era we're living in as far as like global business.
Are you able to like stay creative on the road? I know some cats I've talked to like.
Hell yeah,
they get, they can't write or whatever.
They need to get a sub pack. I don't know.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm sponsored. Shout out Sub Pack. We love you guys. This is a placement I'm doing. For real, the best thing on the road. No, man, this is what all artists say. I don't care if I was sponsored by them or not. Before I was even working with them, with their spread bass movement.
That's like the backpack thing.
Yeah, man, that thing slaps. It's like literally having like subs in your trunk on your back.
Wow.
So like, there's no excuses no more as artists. Like, good homie.
So you make a beat and then you
bring that with
put
me.
Sub Pack on and you like test it out. Like,
No, you make the beat with the Sub Pack.
oh, is that right?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I got it on in the airport.
I have it on
It's
my
not
seat
like a
in the
good
airport.
look.
Nah,
Wow.
people
Hey, man.
they freak out some airports.
Yeah.
Like what the? It looks like a halo, like
I tried one out
exoskeleton.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they try to like take it apart.
They try to like unzip it like a backpack. There's
How
like,
do I open it?
See, that's good promotion for Sub Pack.
Yeah, well,
People seeing it like that and want to play with it.
Just being
but
like,
even
wow.
even before that shit though, man, like Chuck English said it best from the Cool Kids. He said, "You got headphones, a laptop, you got no excuses. I don't want to hear no sad bullshit. Oh, I can't write today. Oh, I don't have karaoke. What are these karaoke's? I don't have speakers.
Right.
Like, bro, you got headphones, you got a MacBook Pro or a Mac whatever Air.
Yeah.
You got anything, PC,
Yeah.
Fruity Loops, get to work. Like, don't give me that. I don't have. If anything, the road's the most inspiring time of an artist's life. Like, I done traveled to, I've been to Asia, South America, Europe many times now, all over. Like, some places I start hitting 2-3 times. I'm sure people have hit it 30, 50 times in their career, but I'm just getting started. But, like, that's when I want to write more.
Yeah.
And so you go to a studio. If you're a musician on the road, you should be pretty in your right mind if you're not all spun out and crazy from the partying and the life, to go navigate your way into just a speaker setup, a studio. Everyone would, everywhere I've gone, if I'm like, yo, I got an idea, if someone's like, oh, I'll call my friend. Oh, we'll go to, just go write on the road.
Well, I think it's easy to find reasons why you can't create. If you're going to allow yourself to do that, you'll always find obstacles.
Yeah, man.
So you say you're just getting started. What's the goal?
We was just talking about what that was. What was the goal?
Man.
What do you think the goal was?
Hey, man, yo, go.
My goal is to make my mom happy, proud.
Okay.
Like, and she is, so I've already achieved part of it, but I know I could do better. And my goal is, like I said, yeah, man, like my whole life's goal was to like drive a Lambo.
Okay.
And like go crazy. It's just, my family's been telling me most of my life, like, to do everything except music, but while supporting the music. So it's like very confusing as a young brain to like, I wanted to go to Berklee School of Music. That was like my first dream. Everyone was like, oh shit. There's no money after that.
Right.
Damn. But I loved music, I could read treble and bass clef, and I knew theory very well. I studied different regional techniques of guitar, and I got really into guitar, man. Like, it was almost like a mad science for me. I still play.
Yeah.
But then, that sucked, like hearing no your whole life. And then one day you're like, yo, look at this check.
Right.
Look at this check. Or look at my Instagram. Look at this tour. This is real,
Yeah.
That's my end goal. And I already made that. So now I got a new goal. And the new goal is to, eventually get enough Lucchini out of this to set up like my boy gave me an idea, and I worked for this nonprofit in the Bay called Today's Future Sound, run by my boy Philip Drummond, doctor. He's got a PhD, Elliot Gann. He's the man, dude. Elliot Gann. I don't know how to say his last name, but he brings like MPDs, like laptops, controllers to like middle schools and high schools in the hood, and runs like little beat shops all over. He's done them in Peru. He's gone to Australia. We're trying to work on starting one here in Los Angeles County.
Nice.
To where we can get a grant. And, that's when I'm really playing ball, is when I give back to the point where I can start giving back after worrying about myself for so long.
Yeah.
I want to be able to help out the youth, man. Like, save the music. When is that still around?
I don't know.
Yeah, See? That
Yeah.
sucks. That sucks. Everything Reagan did to this country was like where I'm basically stuck in time at is fighting for. Like they cut the music programs in school that birthed hip hop. You know, like let's give the music back to these, because that's, you know, undoubtedly the most important language to me besides mathematics is music. So I want to motion towards saying that my end goal is making enough cheddar to where I can start putting some music back into some people's lives. Because, dude, yo, like, there's videos today still of kids like 5, 6 years old that are prodigies. What if they didn't get that?
Yeah.
You know, what if we missed the next this, that? I'm not worried about that for the money or the fame, but the culture and the preservation of jazz and classical. And ultimately, you know, that is probably the most intellectual route of music, the path Lee's chosen right now. So I'm going to fight for it in like 10 years.
Nice. Yeah. So, yeah, you know, talking about Reaganomics and how that gave birth to hip-hop. It's crazy. I'm watching right now Hip Hop Evolution on Netflix.
That's a new one?
So it's like an 8-part miniseries. And I've been in hip-hop my whole life. And I'm like, you know, I know so many of those stories, but there's all this stuff that I didn't know.
I'm going to check it out.
It's the first like thing on TV I've seen that's really teaching me stuff I didn't know about hip hop. It's really good.
That's nasty. Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Like everyone talks about, I'll give you a quick one. Like everyone talks about Kool Herc, like being the first DJ to mix two breaks together. And like everybody knows that, and so they go into that, and I'm like, okay, I already know this story. But did you know that at that first party there was a rapper? And they interviewed a dude, and he tells you what he said on the mic at that time. And like I've heard that story 100 times, and no one's ever mentioned a rapper.
Never.
But
all they mentioned was his sister or cousin's like birthday bash.
Yeah. So like they showed the flyer, and this dude's name is on there, and then they went and talked to him, but he never made a record. He never he just did a few parties back in the day. But you know, anyway, it's a trip. I digress.
No, not at all, man. Like,
So
I'm still interested. Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna have to check that out.
But
man.
so you're talking about Reaganomics and like how that affected
the fatal blow to this.
The other thing too, I got to tell you, like 1977, you know, there's like a few DJs. You know, there's Bam, there's Herc, there's Flash, there's like a few guys, right? And in the blackouts in New York in 77, everybody went looting. And all of a sudden, there's like dozens of DJs because they went and stole. Yeah. And I think it was Grand Wizard Theodore. It's like, I stole 2 turntables and then I became a DJ because now I had gear.
You know.
So it's like that one thing like had such an effect.
Yeah, the Get Down, did you watch that?
Yeah.
You remember how they portrayed that in the Get Down? I was like, man, greasy. Greasy.
But anyway, so
that's what's kind of going on, and like not necessarily as big as a local, like, I mean, like, yo, dude, like, people are messing with footwork all over the world. Like, let that be known. Like, it's a known fact. There's, like, Spanish footwork crews. There's Japanese footwork crews.
So for anybody that doesn't know, explain footwork.
Man, dude, footwork is basically the progression from early kind of, like, ghetto house, so to say. And before footwork came juke. It was like faster, you know. Shit, just the dancers. Was it the dancers requesting faster, or the people just threw faster? I don't know. There's always this discussion of just faster. People wanted a little bit more.
Okay.
And they'd give them that, and then footwork just pretty much came because you know jukas were like fall on the floor, like very like synced up, and then like in comes someone like RP Boo. Like just throws the snare way out of the picture and like throws everything you knew about 4/4 and completely like lobotomizes it. And by that meaning like, you know, you're programming on very like nowadays I would hate if someone used the word primitive, but they're not. They're very advanced for their time, but very simple sequencers and drum machines. 570 and 660. And yeah, basically footwork is the evil baby that came out of the evolution from, you know, G house, hip house, whatever you want to call it, like ghetto tech.
Yeah.
And then Juke and Jit were battling for pretty much superior power in the hood, from what I know. that's Detroit and Chicago's like known, dance styles and all that, because it's all dance music, right? But then footwork came and basically didn't get any love nowhere. Like, it was just like almost like, no, don't play that. Like, Gantman was getting booked around the world when he was young. It was like the first juke kind of dude, but they wouldn't let him play his juke music. They'd be like, no, we want you to play house.
Right.
So he'd go to the places but not get to rock. So footwork to me is like kind of like on some punk rock shit. Like, not to compare the two too loosely, but yeah, didn't no one want to hear that. Even me in San Francisco and Oakland, making it and playing it at all these, like, think about that, like Burning Man people on ketamine, listening to my music.
Right.
I don't know, they dug it, but they didn't know what the hell was going on. And so, footwork to me is the craziest thing ever. It's an amalgamation of everything I love.
Is there like a record that people associate that's like with that style? That's like the one record that like people.
Man, baby, come on, Godzilla. Man, there's a few in the beginning, bro.
Yeah.
I'm in.
What was the question again?
Like the first.
Sorry, but
no, you got it. We both been trying to the first one.
Is there like
I
a
said,
record
baby,
that
come on.
people really associate with
like
footwork?
Yeah. The
Okay,
first
so
one.
I want to say like one of Rashad's fan very first.
I was gonna get to them next.
I'm saying like as far as
Motherfucker.
I'm saying shit they did like a long time ago. It was like it was shit that was on Dance Mania. You got to start with that.
You gotta start.
Shout
Shout
out
out
to Dance Mania,
is
like
where it all
even with Ghetto
transferred
House,
into.
even with Ghetto House, with that coming from House, it was just a little dirtier version. It was kind of fast. The people were still footworking to it. House-o-matic dance groups and everybody. So I don't know. It was one track called like DJ Rashad Child Abuse. It was DJ Span on there.
Okay.
It was some Dads, some Sluggo, Dion and stuff, Milton, Gammon. Then it went to like Juke Tracks Records. It was DJ Godfathers in Detroit, and it was like Clint, Rashad, Spin. It was like Boo. Boo was putting out his own stuff. Boo was putting out like
tapes.
his own tapes.
Yeah,
he didn't really
he
like
had
release on labels till later, like
He
Planet
had Dude.
Mew.
He put out Dude.
Stuff really started getting bigger for footwork once Planet Mew got in the picture.
Yo, Mike Paradinas picked it up and kind of overexposed it to say like, put out the Bangs and Works, put out DJ Nate stuff, really started pushing other cats that were newer, and like Spin Rashad were like, the fuck, they got their shots, they went up. Shout out Code 9 for recognizing real music always before even footwork, He entrusted Burial. And he's always been pushing. He's pushing my little brother's music. Like, he's always pushing dope. For 100 releases.
Who's your little brother?
This guy right
Oh.
My little big bro. And, like, I'm just going to throw it out there, like, if it wasn't for, like, the lineage of what we just said leading up to that, there'd be no us.
Yeah.
So these are all, like, the building blocks to this, like, truly American thing.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I dig is obviously being from an immigrant family. My claim in America hasn't been the most American, so to say, but jazz, hip hop, basketball, baseball. I mean, dude, we've given the world some dope stuff. Don't get me wrong. Like footwork, Ghetto House, techno, acid, like pretty much all good dance music. There's obviously Italian disco is really hot. So we're not the only ones that's got an early start.
Sure.
There's a lot of cats, French cats, German cats. Can't forget about Kraftwerk and stuff. There's people been doing this, but we just do it so well over here. Yeah. And I'm just blessed and humbled to say that, if you go to the history books and go chronologically up, at somewhere you have to stop and hear me, or at least my collaborations with this guy who's bigger and better. I appreciate that. I'd rather be part of something like that than just this EDM nonsense. And with that, I mean no disrespect, but they call it a culture.
Yeah.
And I just don't see the depth of what culture they're speaking upon.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So I'll give them that they do. You can call a mass group of people a culture anywhere,
Sure.
But the depths and levels and, like, how deep does this story go? Is it just, like, surface level? Most likely.
Yeah. So how does for you, like, because you're talking about, you started out playing all these instruments and, but most of your music you're making on a laptop, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm wondering is how does that training and those skills, like how do you use those today in what you're making?
Well, the theory's always gonna be there. The theory's always gonna be in any musical situation.
So how does it? Because some cats are like, you can buy a computer and some software. I can start making music today, right?
Dude, you can totally, like, within an hour right now, be up and running.
And so if I do that, it's not gonna be any good. But some cats are like, don't have musical training, but yet they're making decent records.
Yeah.
Right. And so what I'm wondering is like.
Yeah, it's true that, I guess the theory doesn't really matter. That's just for me.
I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but I'm wondering how it matters for you. Like tell me the difference between the way you might approach this versus somebody that doesn't have that training.
Well, I don't finish a beat that I don't see linearly, like a movie, like left to right.
Okay.
Like if I start some stuff and if I don't get that flash vision of I know exactly what I'm going to do, and like it's almost like you build it in your mind. Kind of like an automobile or like a vehicle, First you got to draw it, then you got to build it, you got to fly it, So there's no really situation for guys like us. It's a very like improvisational kind of attempt. Like a lot of trial and error. Usually just start with some percussive elements, like as most productions, and then working with Tay is great because he's very musical in the sense that he likes to write a lot of his own stuff, and I do too. I do a lot of sampling, as you can tell. Like I love it's like a hobby almost more than a job. But the writing part is like separates the men from the boys, and then the treatment. Like so just because that synth sounds good doesn't mean you're done. You got to slap the EQ on. You got to put a little reverb, put it in a room, put a little delay at the end of the 8th bar, just so it trails out and doesn't just sound like it stops. Like there's like little things like post production stuff that gets me excited, I think. It's where I come into play as like a power player. I give myself that. I spent a lot of money in college. Like my family helped me get through it. We spent a lot of dough, like having me be able to have a leg to stand on saying, yes, I'm a professional audio engineer and a professional musician. And I pride myself on being able to not stir the pot too heavy on both sides, but just the right amount. So yeah, for me, it's like my MPC is like life. The Renaissance and the 2000 XL, I just started putting back on again more.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, like, if the pads aren't rocking, then I'm not taking the track anywhere, Yeah. But if everything's going good, like lately, I finished an album. It's like kind of like, nah, that's cool. But don't forget, like, before I put out 8 mixtapes this year.
Right. Dude,
I was gonna put out 12. I kind of ran out of gas.
You do one a month?
I was gonna do one a month, and I got up to about August and September, and I doubled up 8 and 9, or 7 and 8, excuse me, Cold Heat.
Yeah.
And then like Delphine was like, "You gotta stop this shit." She's like, "You got an album to put out.
So
let's gap this out, Not in a bad way. She's like, just breathing room.
Right.
So I'm gonna do 9, 10, 11, 12 next year, and then maybe just keep going forever. I don't know. I don't think I'm ever gonna stop that series.
So let's talk about that because, I'm interested how like social media changes, the game for you as a musician, and how like traditionally, if you're a certain type of artist, you're making an album every 2-3 years, right? So like if you're a rock band or a rapper,
I was thinking like that,
right? You make a record, you go promo, then you go on tour. Then you take 6 months off, start writing again, and it's a 3-year cycle, right? And then in dance music, it's a little bit different, right? But if you're a house DJ or a techno, you're still you're making a single for WMC.
You know what I mean?
For like summer, rave season or whatever.
I got you, man.
But you're doing it a whole different way. You're just like got a steady stream of music coming out.
I mean, I just remember like in school they were saying something about business, like, what was it? Quality over quantity or quantity over quality. Like, no one's ever done both. Right. There's no such thing.
Right. Is that right?
I don't believe that.
I mean, that's what
I've always been someone that's like, if you tell me something's not possible, I'm not. Because it's like my mom always said, believe nothing what you hear and half of what you see. Just because someone says something does not mean it's true.
Yeah.
And I think people really work themselves up on it. But yeah, like, Yeah, man. I think it's just that fight or flight.
So does social media, like, how are you using it?
Oh man,
and does it change the game for you as far as like you're connecting with fans?
First, I'm just gonna throw it out there is I wish I knew how to use it better.
Okay.
You know, like these young cats really got a grasp on how to.
Yeah.
You know,
what do you mean? Like,
memes,
what do you see people
goofy
doing?
Memes,
okay.
Goofy troll stuff, like just this stupid post-humor shit that my Boston ass does not find fucking funny for half a second.
Right.
I don't think I've ever laughed at a screen.
Yeah.
I've laughed at a comedian on the screen or a show.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever laughed at a silent fucking screen. Maybe just World Star videos. That's not a sound screen. You know what I mean? Like, I'll laugh. I'll watch that any day with you. We'll just run
World Star shit's wild. Yeah.
Run it. Like, you know, or funny videos are fine. But the way I like to use it is basically just music only.
Okay.
So I don't do politics.
Right.
I don't do, I mean, loosely, like, marijuana is like, about to be legal, so I can't believe I even said marijuana. Yo, dank. Like, I think people really love to see that and forget about the album sometimes. But take a picture, you'll like it. So I guess the way I use it is just music only. Lots of it, content. Try to repost my homie stuff as much as possible. Try to just nothing but music.
Yeah.
Like if you're following me, which I don't know why, thank you, but just I don't need you to hit like under me to feel just rock my stuff at a club and take a video.
Right.
Do you know how many people play our tracks all over? And the coolest thing I've heard was this dude said, that's your spirit. Like, when your track gets played, you might not be there, but that's your spirit there.
Right.
Everywhere in the world, our tracks get spins.
That's cool.
You know, Bonobos played tracks all the way down to other, like, people you wouldn't even expect. Like our stuff. Like I found out Florence from Florence and the Machine, like DJ Rashad, years ago.
Shit.
I was like, word. Never
cool.
saw that coming. You know,
dude, her show is incredible.
These are all rumors, by the way. I don't know if any of this shit's true. And so I know that people are listening, man, and that's why I just give them music. I don't believe in getting involved with the selection, bless you. Because look what happened. All these people getting involved got their feelings hurt.
Right.
You know, I'm anarchist. Like, my mom grew up Marxist. I'm anti-establishment. The only establishment is Teklife. Like, and that is definitely not even coinciding with anything political. It's just faction-based. So, with that comes the territory of you have a podium now as an artist.
Right.
Why don't you speak out on all that stuff? Well, motherfucker, I'm trying to promote an album. You know what I'm saying? So
I also think we saw this last election showed how little influence like so many quote-unquote influencers actually have.
Thank you for saying it best. Influential people to the next generation aren't being heard.
Right.
It's almost like they got a mute button on their face. Like, they'll say something, but like Jay-Z and Beyonce didn't get Hillary elected.
Right.
There was no mass camp. That was like literally they booked that show like right before the election.
Right.
That shit should have been. No matter how much coverage and how much people care, how many musicians got involved, we still lost as a nation.
Yeah.
So, motherfucker, I'm putting out this album.
Yeah.
And my album's called New Start. And I didn't even think of how bad this year would be while I was building this thing. And now that it's New Start, like, I'm going to tell people and be like, yo, like, this album's a new start for me. I feel like this country, this world, like, we could all use a new start. Like, post a hashtag or, like, let's get this going, like, new start. I know it's kind of, like, tongue-in-cheek, a little sappy, a little not hood enough, but you know what? Like, fuck them and fuck everyone, because at the end of the day, I believe that it's time for some sort of change, whether it's slow and steady or quick and rebellious. And, like, let it burn or let it fly. But New Start for me is just, like, kind of like my redemption song. It's kind of like, I've been featured on so many vinyl records, you know, like featured, compilation. Never have I had my own. And a bunch of labels flaked on me. I'm not going to name them. But, you know, telling a kid you're going to have your own vinyl record and not giving it to me was just like the worst feeling. And just yesterday I got my white label. Nice. My white label.
That's cool.
Something the day I've been waiting for pretty much since I knew what a white label was, man. Yeah. Flipped my head. And then today the vinyl came in London, so that's huge for me. And his album was EP. Excuse me, I keep saying his EP, man, was like It's amazing. He did a video for it.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, I don't want to compete. I don't want to compete with you. I'm like, let's just cross promote and just like make another album after together and stuff. So that's what another beautiful part of us is. Just because the album comes out does not mean we're done working. Like,
sure.
If anything, it's like time to get back to work, but harder and more. And then Spin, his album gonna come out next year.
Okay.
A lot of the guys, Earl's album did tremendously well as our second release. Our first release, Rashad's Afterlife, with all the guys on it, did extremely well. So it's a lot to follow up upon. As a grown man, I'm just saying, like, this better go good, or else I'm fucked. But I think I'm almost positive, like, that.
So what does going good look like? What?
Pre-sales, usually based off like pre-sales and internet response, and it's been steady and really, really good. Yeah. And I'm just thankful to whoever hears this and listening that is active in listening to our music and participating with our culture, and working their jobs or however they get their money and spending it on us, like on our brand. We thank you. We're deeply humbled by it, and again, like I said, I want to give back, right? So the only way I can now is music, because I don't have a deep enough wallet to do anything major yet. But for example, like, I just have to say it out loud. Like, we talked about the Bay, we talked about everything. My heart's been aching since Friday. I just want to send a serious, I don't know who's going to hear this or where this goes, but if anyone hearing this that knows what I'm talking about, for the 36 victims of that fire at that rave at the Ghost Ship, to their families, like, at least me speaking out hopefully for all of Teklife, which I very rarely do, is too many of us, but I think I can speak as one from all of us. Our condolences and prayers go out with the families and the victims. And if I was in the Bay, I would have gone to the vigil. And I've played there, I'm pretty sure, years ago. Yeah, I played all the warehouse. Played the Bordello in Oakland. I played all these. I played Ghost Street, 25th, whatever they called that spot on San Pablo. There's a lot of spots like that, and I'm just worried. Now, if I had a kid and that happened to my kid, yo, dude, like, the worst. Horrifying. So hopefully, you can go online. There's, like, the fire department is an easy place to find for Oakland. There's a lot of sites that'll lead you to it. Do your homework if this hits home, or if you're listening, you got money and you want to help out. That's not going to bring the kids back, is what my mom said, which is messed up. But, anything helps right now. So I know the A's are helping out, the Warriors, helping out the city. There's like a ton of money being put in the pot for these families, and it's nothing to me. It's a piss in the pot as to what's going on. But I think that was the worst thing that's ever happened in dance music history. The worst. Besides that gay club getting shot up in Florida by the Orlando ISIS. You hear Michael Shea thing? It sounds like a WNBA team. Orlando ISIS. So it's like, you know what's up, man? Like, you give me an airwave, I'm going to say, America, you don't fool me. There's no such thing as Orlando ISIS. You don't fool me. But yeah, this year has been nuts for the dance
for sure
community, if there is a community, or just to say party culture. We lost Prince, man. Bowie. Everyone was crying like they knew these guys.
Yeah.
Word up, though. I mean, Prince showed up to Spin set at Low End Theory while I was on the mic and Spin was running game, and the purple one showed up. And no one even knew.
That's amazing.
No one even knew. Yeah. We left and didn't even know till the next day. We looked online, and Spin's mom called him. She's like, "You didn't say Prince showed up to your set." Mama, what? It's like, go online. Goes on his iPad, and Spin was like, the purple one, bro. The purple one. And he was playing Life, Durban's Prince remix. I was just hoping he didn't call his lawyers the next day. Let's get these sons of bitches.
That's hilarious.
Rest in peace, man. One of my biggest influences and idols.
Yeah, no doubt.
My whole life, man, just trying to catch up to this motherfunker named Prince, but no one in their right mind with half his brain, half his talent, ability. No one's even got, like, halves on him. Yeah. Sucks. But yeah, just to come back to the album, New Start, man. Can't wait for 2017, bro. I think we're all except Cubs fans. I think the rest of the world, minus the Cubs
fans
nation,
right.
is looking really forward to, the events to come. And hopefully, the way it's going, if you go off numbers, it's not looking good. So I'm not really running towards 2017, but I just can't wait to see what the next page of the next chapter kind of reads out as,
Well, the interesting thing, you're talking about Reagan earlier, and like, I'm interested to see what art and music comes out of our, current time.
They're
right?
talking about the weeds is going to get taken back now because what's his face? I don't like to name drop politicians. That white lizard scumfuck, what's his name? Racist bigot bastard 36. I don't know, I don't know how to call these pieces of shit, but they're trying to take weed away.
Right.
Like, you already got what you wanted, man. Can we have some pot?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not that big into it to the point where I'm like, can we have some pot? But goddamn, like, people need to start going to jail for this shit at least.
For sure. All right, I have a little speed round I like to hit you with.
Was this like the first thing that come to my brain?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So if you can go back to, give one piece of advice to your 18-year-old self or when you're just starting out, what would you say?
God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth, not 2 mouths and 1 ear. You cocky bastard. You arrogant prick. I don't know. I'd probably say something like that to myself.
Okay.
No holds barred.
What talent do you always wish you had more of?
Basketball.
Okay.
Well, I guess growing height. That's a talent. I've always wanted to play ball.
Basketball is a talent. For sure.
I always wish I could like get in the paint more. I'm more of like outside three in the key.
Okay.
Like, never really could get in. I get my shit busted.
If you could choose another career and knew you wouldn't fail at it, what would you do?
Professional Lego master.
Is
I don't
that
know.
right?
No, I just speed round.
Man, that could
No, I'm
be-
just kidding. Any other profession, man? It'd probably be teaching.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Teaching kids music.
Teaching music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. I got it in me, patience-wise.
If I
I just thought Legos would be a funny joke.
So if I was on your team, worked for you or whatever, what's something I would hear you say over and over?
Oof. I don't know, man. I got a whole lot of repeated. You'd never hear me say screwed the pooch. That's for sure. That's one thing you'd never hear.
He's
me
more to say that for like a week.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think I've ever said that in my life.
I mean, apparently it's a well-said thing that I've never said either. You probably just hear me say, like, head on a swivel, like what my coach would say.
Okay.
I just always think back to one of my favorite coaches, Nipper, man. He was always like, head on a swivel. And, like, that was the last thing I heard.
What's that mean?
Just, like
pay attention?
Head on a swivel,
Okay.
man. It's kind of like when hockey coaches tell their guys, stick on the ice.
Oh, okay.
But, like, playing lacrosse, he was like, yo, like, head on a swivel. Because, like, it's some big dudes,
Right.
That was, like, the last thing I heard, too.
That's funny. Who would you be most excited to learn as a fan of your work?
Man, like, this is the speed round. Man, someone with really good ears. Like, I'm talking about like a Stevie Wonder type.
Okay.
Like someone whose ears are better than anything in the world. Like you know what I'm trying to say? Not because he's blind. I'm talking about just like
No, I get it.
someone with the best ears ever. Like opera concierge, like some master. Someone like Roy Ayers, if he was like, if Fela Kuti was alive and he was smoking a joint, he's like, I like that guy Taso. That would be like sacred sacrament moment. But yeah, just anyone with good ears.
Do you have, is there ever like a person in mind, a listener, when you're creating music?
Yeah.
Like a specific person?
Thousands of them.
Okay.
I just envision big.
Yeah. Dance floor.
No, outside.
Oh, okay.
I don't picture. Some tracks I'm in a weird mood. I picture being in like, outside. But most of the time my like mental vision when I'm tracking out is like, I don't know, 10,000 people, 20. Like I just going nuts.
Yeah.
So whoever fits that cast.
What's the biggest show you've played?
Man, like as far as merit, I played Glastonbury with Spin.
Okay.
Which is like
That's huge.
Nothing bigger
50,000, 100,000?
There's 20 stages.
Yeah.
So there's 200,000 people total.
20 stages.
There's like 20 stages. One stage is like anyone can play it.
Yeah.
It's like the smallest stage.
Right.
But people set up and just play.
Right.
And people rage.
Oh, wow.
All in the mud, in the rain. That was, I think when I tell people, oh, I played here, there, and this and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mauer Park was a competition for that. And Pitchfork in Chicago was my favorite one.
For sure.
Pitchfork Chicago 2014 was the most lit thing and the most like emotional thing. And
yeah,
he was there, I was there. It was like, that was crazy, man. There was a lot of people too. There was a lot of people going nuts, like mosh pits for our stuff, and
yeah,
people
right?
crowd surfing. It felt like what I grew up wanting to do, seeing, but not as like, you know, not this.
Sure.
It's like more this.
Right.
You know.
How? What's the last great book you read?
Oh man, that's a great one. I've read a lot of books since this one. I've actually read probably more books since this one than before this one, but I'd say The Four Agreements.
Okay.
Man, it's a wonderful read. It's so quick. You could read it on a plane.
Yeah.
I've read it like probably safer side of like 100 times.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It's like my Bible.
Yeah.
The first chapter is be impeccable with your word. And I think that what it states and what my mom raised me with was just believe nothing with your effort, what you see, is because most people aren't impeccable with their word.
For sure.
So it helped me like round off my mom knowledge.
Yeah.
She raised me right.
Yeah.
And then it helped me get the spiritual side connected without God talk and all that stuff. Just basically, that book I feel like anyone and everybody should read more than once.
It's great.
Yeah.
What movie do you think you've seen the most in your life?
Man, probably like Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, shit.
Like my uncle used to just have it on repeat
Is
when
that
I was
right?
like 4 or 5 years. Yeah, man. I watched some classics like Ben-Hur. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Shaka Zulu. Like I'm talking Casablanca, like classic flicks, yo. I could tell you every part of them, and I still run them back once in a while, and I'm like still amazed I could quote. And like my uncle's like a really cool dude. As Greek as he was, he had good taste in movies.
Nice.
And we never watched I watched Scarface in kindergarten, but I think out of all of them, I feel like I watched Lawrence of Arabia one too many times with him.
Okay.
It was 4 hours. He knew if he just put that on, I'd go to sleep.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Good movie.
Who's your favorite DJ you've ever seen live?
Man, Rashad. Spin. It's a tie.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to jump right away and say Q. You know, if you've ever seen Qbert live.
You've seen him live?
ISP. Well, I played Lone Theory Festival this year, and I got to stick around. I had to watch ISP rock.
Yeah.
So that to me, if you want to talk live, that's the craziest. But DJing and scratching now, we're gonna just separate church and state. So as far as DJing, there is no one better alive right now, I think, than Spin, bro. Like Spin and Rashad, but we lost Rashad, man. So yeah, bro, what a technician, man. Yeah. Like long blends, no headphones, never practices, never cares to. All the practice. It's nuts, man.
How's that happen?
We practice.
He practice. He just doesn't need to no more. You know?
Yeah.
They say only at the right time does the master appear for the student or the teacher appear for the student.
Yeah.
I was them to me, and I still don't think I'll ever beat him. I beat him at NBA 2K like a few times. I'm going to just throw that out there. Not by a lot.
That's great.
But yeah, that dude's like the Terminator.
Nice.
He just like, doesn't look up, doesn't put his hands up, just microphone raps, bigs the shit up. It's insane process watching DJ Spin perform, and then having to be back to back with him around the world for the past few years. It's almost like a job within a job because it's almost like going to the World Series and like knowing the game's rigged and you're gonna lose. Like, you've been throwing that ball in your backyard since you were, like, 5.
Yeah.
And, like, all right, son, good job, but you're always going to be second place. Like, it's motivating. Like, it makes me want to, like, show him. But, yo, he's next to me. He only said one thing on it, which is He been practiced. Like spin's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just with the blends, man. Like can't mess with his proficient tactics.
Nice. Well, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it.
Man, thank y'all.
Talk to you. Where's everybody find you online? Let's promote the record and the socials, all that.
Above all, like you can check all of our stuff out at www.teklife57.com. We have a Facebook like page, which is the best way to kind of stay current.
Okay.
That's Teklife Crew. Twitter, same. For me, everything is similar. It's at TASOTEKLIFE, at Taso Teklife for Instagram, at Taso Teklife for Twitter. And the rest is so forth, like, SoundCloud.com /Taso.
Okay.
Go to my Bandcamp, Taso Teklife. Yo, just type in Taso Teklife and see what comes up. Everything's good. DJ Tay, at DJ Tay Teklife.
On everything, yeah.
Pretty much. He's like me. Everything's really...
Everything redirect to tekliferecords.com.
Yeah.
Like, we just got, like, this new, like... we got, like, some new website features
You gotta see it. It's, like,
soon.
location,
really
GPS location for our shows.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I didn't read it. I just seen it.
It's crazy.
That's for bands
we got,
in
like,
town.
some, we got, like,
Well,
some
they've
crazy
had-
tracks
like-
coming out, like, some surprise.
Yeah, we're trying to,
end of
like...
the year, we
We're
got some
trying to,
great
like...
stuff.
Yeah, trying to like mirror what's going on outside of our site and then bring it into. I mean, any sites. Everyone's trying to do that, like.
Yeah.
But we're doing it more in a way that suits us, so it's a way to keep up.
Nice. Yeah, that was Taso from the Teklife crew. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Make sure you hit us on Twitter at Rebel Radio Net. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, and most importantly, come back next week for more Rebel Radio. Peace.